Welcome to Story Sleep. Let your soul relax and immerse yourself in the world of great stories. Part 1, The Ocean's Whisper. The waves roll gently, their rhythm steady and soft. Like the breath of a sleeping giant, the sea stretches far and endless. A deep blue world of mystery and wonder, beneath its shimmering surface, where sunlight dances like golden threads. A kingdom lies hidden, untouched by time, deep in the heart of this underwater world, where the corals bloom like enchanted gardens and the fish weave through currents like whispers on the wind. There is a mermaid. Her hair floats around her like strands of moonlight, her tail shimmering with the colors of the sea. She moves with effortless grace, her body flowing with the water, as if she is part of it, as if the ocean itself breathes through her. She is not alone. The creatures of the sea know her, love her, follow her. A school of silvery fish glides in her wake. A curious dolphin nudges her arm. And even the slow-moving sea turtles turn their wise eyes toward her as she passes. But though she is surrounded by beauty, by life, she longs for something more. She has heard stories. Stories whispered through the waves, carried by the currents, sung in the voice of the sea itself. Stories of a world above, where the sky is endless and the wind moves free, where the stars shine with a light that does not fade beneath the water's surface. And she dreams of this world, of what lies beyond the ocean's reach. She dreams of the unknown, and though she does not yet know it, her dreams are about to lead her to something greater than she has ever imagined. Something beyond the waves, something waiting just for her. Part 2, The Secret Above the Waves. The mermaid drifts through the water, her fingers tracing the gentle currents, her heart filled with quiet longing. The stories of the world above call to her like a song, like the lull of the tide pulling her toward an unseen shore. She has always known the ocean. Its touch is familiar, its whispers are kind. But there is something beyond, something she has never touched, never known, never seen with her own eyes. Tonight, the moon is full. Its silver light pierces the water, stretching deep into the sea like fingers reaching for her. The ocean glows beneath it, waves shimmering like liquid light. And in this moment, she knows she must go. She rises. Her tail flicks softly, sending her upward, past the coral gardens, past the swaying kelp forests, past the dancing schools of fish that turn to watch her ascent. The water grows lighter, warmer. She can feel the pull of the surface, the place where the sea meets the sky. It is closer now, closer than it has ever been. She slows. For a moment, she hesitates, letting the waves rock her gently just beneath the surface. Her reflection wavers above, distorted by the ripples of the sea. And then, with a quiet breath, she breaks through. The air is cool against her skin, soft and strange, different from the water's embrace. The sky stretches endlessly above her, deep and dark, filled with stars that glitter like jewels scattered across a velvet sea. She exhales, watching the way her breath drifts into the night. And then she sees it. A ship. It moves across the water, its sails catching the wind, its lanterns glowing like fireflies against the night. She watches, mesmerized, as laughter drifts through the air. Voices carried by the breeze. They are human, the ones from the stories. She moves closer, drawn by curiosity, by wonder. by the strange and beautiful world she has never known, and as she watches, she does not realize that her journey has already begun. Part 3, The Eyes of the Stranger. The mermaid stays hidden, just beyond the reach of the ship's lanterns, her body rising and falling with the slow rhythm of the waves. The voices above are soft, carried on the wind like a melody she does not yet understand. She watches. There are figures moving across the deck, humans. Their faces are strange, their forms unfamiliar, yet something about them feels warm. They are laughing, talking, pointing toward the stars, as if they, too, are enchanted by the night. And then, a voice, deeper than the rest, a figure steps forward, pausing at the edge of the ship. His hands rest on the wooden railing as he gazes out at the sea, his expression thoughtful, distant, lost in the vastness of the water. The mermaid tilts her head, curious. Something about him feels different from the others. His dark hair is tousled by the wind, his eyes reflecting the glow of the lanterns, yet holding something else, something quiet, something searching. He looks down, and their eyes meet for a heartbeat. Neither of them move. The ship drifts. The waves rise and fall. The night hums with silence. And then, slowly, the man leans forward, his brows drawing together as if he isn't sure whether what he sees is real. The mermaid doesn't move. She should leave. She knows. Should disappear beneath the waves before he can understand what he is seeing. But she doesn't. Something in his gaze holds her there. Something that feels like an echo of the longing she carries in her own heart. A longing for something beyond what is known. The man blinks, as if trying to clear his vision. He opens his mouth, a word forming, but before it can escape, the wind shifts. A wave rises suddenly, breaking between them. The ship tilts slightly. The man grips the railing, and in that moment, the mermaid lets the ocean pull her back into its embrace. She vanishes beneath the water, disappearing into the darkness, her heart pounding like the waves against the shore. She does not look back, but she knows this will not be the last time they meet. Part 4, The Call of the Sea. The mermaid drifts beneath the waves, her heart echoing the rhythm of the tide. The ocean cradles her, the water familiar and warm. But something inside her has changed. The memory of the man's gaze lingers in her mind, his eyes reflecting the same wonder she feels. He had seen her, not just a shadow in the water, not just a flicker of moonlight, but truly seen her. And she had not wanted to look away. She swims through the deep blue expanse, past glowing jellyfish and forests of swaying kelp. Schools of fish scatter in silver bursts as she moves, but her thoughts remain fixed on the surface, on the world above, on the ship that carries the stranger across the sea. Why does she feel this way? Why does her heart ache when she thinks of him? She does not understand it, but she knows one thing: she must see him again. As days pass, she returns to the surface, hidden in the shadows of the waves. She watches the ship move across the horizon, her eyes searching for him. And each night, when the sky turns soft with stars, she finds him standing at the edge of the ship, staring out at the sea, as if searching for something, as if searching for her. The wind carries his voice, low and thoughtful, speaking to no one in particular. He wonders if what he saw was real. He wonders if the sea holds secrets yet unknown. She smiles. If only he knew how many. One evening, when the sky is painted in hues of pink and gold, she dares to come closer. Just beyond the glow of the ship's lanterns, she hums a melody, a quiet, haunting song that drifts over the water like mist. The man stiffens. His head turns. His eyes scanning the waves. He hears her. Slowly, he steps forward, leaning over the railing. His lips part. His breath catches. And in that moment, the world feels smaller. As if only the two of them exist. She should leave, but she doesn't. The ocean sways around her, gentle, inviting. She lets herself rise just a little higher, lets the moonlight catch the shimmer of her hair, the glow of her eyes. The man's fingers tighten around the railing. His expression shifts, no longer just wonder, but something deeper, something like recognition. The ship rocks gently, and the moment stretches between them like the tide pulling at the shore. Then, a shout from the deck. The spell shatters. The mermaid dives beneath the waves, disappearing into the dark embrace of the ocean. But this time, she does not swim far. This time, she stays close, listening to the echoes of his voice calling out across the sea, calling for her. Part 5, The Ocean's Promise. The mermaid lingers beneath the waves, her heart thrumming like the tide. The sound of his voice still lingers in the water, carried by the currents like an unbroken thread. He had called out, had searched the sea for her. Something inside her stirs, something restless and aching. She should let go of this dream. She should return to the deep, to the world she has always known. Yet, she cannot. The ship moves on, but she follows. Night after night, she listens. The man speaks to the sea, though he does not know she is there. He wonders aloud if the stories are true, if the ocean hides secrets beyond what men can see. He speaks of the song he heard, of the glimpse of something, someone, beneath the moonlight. He does not know her name. He does not know if she is real, but he believes. And so, she stays. The days turn to weeks. The stars shift in the sky, and the mermaid watches him as he watches the waves. He does not fear the ocean like the others. He treats it with reverence, with curiosity, as if it is something to be understood, not conquered. She admires him for that. One night, when the sea is calm and the air is warm, she sings again, softly, like the hush of waves on the shore. The melody drifts through the darkness, weaving through the air like a whispered promise. On the deck of the ship, he stills. His breath catches. His hands grip the railing, his gaze scanning the endless water. He knows this song. She sees it in his face, the realization, the recognition. He steps forward, and this time, he does not hesitate. Slowly, carefully, he kneels at the edge of the ship and whispers into the night, "Who are you?" The mermaid does not answer, not with words. Instead, she rises just enough for the moonlight to catch the shimmer of her tail, the glow of her hair, the softness of her gaze, and for the first time, she does not vanish. The man exhales, wonder filling his eyes, his voice barely above a breath. "You're real." A pause, then, softer, "I've been waiting for you." The ocean sighs around them, the stars watching from above, and for the first time, the mermaid dares to believe that maybe, just maybe, she was always meant to find him. Part 6, The Choice Between Two Worlds. The ocean hums softly around them, the waves lapping gently against the ship's hull. The mermaid floats just beyond the reach of the lantern's glow, her heart pounding like the distant call of the tide. The man watches her in silence, his expression filled with something unspoken, wonder, longing, understanding. For the first time, they are not just glimpses in the night, they are here, together. In the same moment, he leans forward, his voice quiet, careful, as if speaking too loudly might shatter the fragile space between them. "What's your name?" She hesitates. She has never spoken to a human before, never shaped her voice into words above the waves. But she has heard their language, listened to the way their voices rise and fall like the tide. She takes a breath, and then, softly, she speaks. Her name drifts through the air like a whisper, like the hush of the sea against the shore. The man's lips part slightly, his fingers tightening against the railing. He repeats it, slowly, carefully, as if committing it to memory, as if holding on to it like something precious. A silence stretches between them, filled only with the sound of the wind and the distant creak of the ship. The mermaid tilts her head, watching the way his gaze lingers on her, not with fear, not with suspicion, but with something else, something she feels in her own heart, a longing, a knowing. The wind shifts, and the moment wavers, fragile as foam on the water. She glances toward the horizon, where the sky begins to lighten with the earliest traces of dawn. She cannot stay. She belongs to the sea, to the world beneath the waves. And yet, she looks at him again, at the quiet way he waits, at the way his fingers hover near the water, as if reaching without truly daring to touch. A choice stands before her: to remain in the ocean, as she always has, or to reach beyond the world she knows, towards something unknown, toward him. The mermaid swallows, and then, with quiet determination, she does something she has never done before. She reaches out. Her fingertips barely skim the surface of the water, but it is enough. Enough to break the barrier between their worlds. Enough to send ripples through the stillness of the night. The man exhales, his breath catching in his throat, and then, a voice shouts from the deck. The spell shatters, footsteps pound above them. Lanterns swing wildly, and before she can think, the mermaid vanishes beneath the waves, lost to the ocean's embrace. The ship moves on. The man remains at the railing, his eyes searching, waiting, and though she is gone, the mermaid knows she will return, because the sea always calls to those who listen. Because their story is not yet over. Because sometimes, love is found in the space between two worlds, and sometimes, it is worth the risk to reach beyond the waves.